The Divine Encounter. Episode 12, Shadows in the Boardroom. The days following the dedication ceremony were a blend of hope and unease for Jason. The joy of reconciliation with his brother Evan was undeniable. For the first time in years, the weight of their past had lifted, replaced by a newfound bond. They spent hours reminiscing about their childhood, discussing their futures, and planning how they could support each other's ventures. Evan, who had once been a formidable adversary, was now becoming a trusted ally. But even as Jason found solace in his mended relationship with Evan, dark clouds began to gather on the horizon. The whispers of Echelon Enterprises' interest in Genesis Innovations grew louder. Jason's financial advisor informed him of unusual activity in the company's stock. Shares were being bought up at an alarming rate, and rumors of a hostile takeover started to circulate within the industry. Echelon Enterprises, a $100 billion behemoth with a reputation for devouring smaller companies, had set its sights on Genesis Innovations. Led by the cold and calculating CEO, Victor Lang, Echelon was known for its ruthless tactics. They had built their empire by identifying successful but vulnerable companies and acquiring them through any means necessary. Genesis, with its meteoric rise and cutting-edge technology, was the perfect target. Jason knew he had to act fast. He gathered his executive team for an emergency meeting in the sleek, glass-walled boardroom of Genesis Innovations. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with the gravity of the situation. Jason stood at the head of the table, his face a mask of determination. Echelon Enterprises is making a move, he began, his voice steady but firm. They're buying up shares and positioning themselves for a hostile takeover. We've worked too hard to let this happen. We need to protect what we've built. The team discussed various strategies, from issuing more shares to dilute Echelon's stake to seeking a white knight, another company that could step in to protect Genesis from the takeover. Jason's mind raced with the possibilities, but he knew that whatever decision they made, it needed to be swift and decisive. After the meeting, Jason and Evan sat in Jason's office, the city skyline stretching out before them. Jason leaned back in his chair, the weight of the day pressing down on him. "I didn't want to drag you into this," Jason said, looking at his brother. "But Echelon is a different kind of beast. They won't stop until they get what they want." Evan nodded, his expression serious. "I'm in this with you, Jason. We'll face it together. But we need to be smart. Echelon doesn't play by the rules. They'll try to exploit any weakness." Jason felt a surge of gratitude for his brother's support. "Thank you, Evan. I don't know how we're going to get through this, but I'm glad you're by my side." As the brothers strategized, they knew they were up against a formidable opponent. Victor Lang was not just interested in acquiring Genesis Innovations. He wanted to dismantle it, strip it of its assets, and absorb its groundbreaking technology into Echelon's vast empire. The thought of Genesis Innovations, the company Jason had poured his heart and soul into, being reduced to a mere footnote in Echelon's portfolio was unbearable. The days turned into weeks, and the pressure mounted. Echelon's aggressive stock acquisitions continued, and the media caught wind of the potential takeover. Headlines screamed about the David and Goliath battle unfolding in the tech world, with analysts speculating on whether Jason could fend off the corporate giant. In the midst of this turmoil, Jason found himself turning more to prayer, seeking wisdom and strength from God. He knew that his human efforts alone might not be enough to save his company. He prayed for guidance, for a way to protect Genesis Innovations without compromising the values he held dear. Then, one night, as Jason was poring over financial reports in his office, Evan burst in, his face lit with excitement. "Jason, I've got an idea," he said, dropping a folder on the desk. "It's risky, but it might just work." Jason opened the folder and quickly scanned the contents. It was a proposal, a bold, unorthodox strategy that involved partnering with a consortium of smaller tech firms to create a defensive alliance against Echelon. By pooling their resources and technologies, they could create a network strong enough to resist the takeover and protect their independence. Jason looked up at Evan, his eyes wide with surprise and admiration. This could work. It's a long shot, but if we pull it off, it could not only save Genesis but also strengthen the entire industry. Evan smiled, a fierce determination in his eyes. We're going to show Echelon that they can't just steamroll over us. Together, we're stronger. With renewed vigor, the brothers set to work, reaching out to potential partners and rallying support. The clock was ticking, and Echelon's advances were relentless. But for the first time in weeks, Jason felt a glimmer of hope. However, as the alliance began to take shape, a new threat loomed on the horizon.